You ever flip a light switch and just expect it to work? Of course you do. We all do. But behind that one simple flick, there's this huge, complex world of constant grinding work. And it's all dedicated to a single goal, keeping the lights on. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and dive into the hidden world of power plant maintenance.
I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. The power goes out and our whole world just stops. The fridge goes silent, the Wi-Fi disappears, everything just goes dark. For us, it's annoying, it's disruptive, but for the people running the power grid,
Well, for them, it's an absolute catastrophe. See, an unexpected shutdown isn't a small problem. It can cause these massive chain reactions, cost millions upon millions of dollars, and leave entire cities completely in the dark. That's why the name of the game isn't just about fixing things when they break. It's about making sure they never break in the first place. So how do they do it?
well, it really boils down to three basic strategies. You can either plan for the future, you can predict the future, or you can panic when it all hits the fan. Let's break down what each of those really looks like.
Okay, first up, you've got preventative maintenance. The easiest way to think about this is like the scheduled oil change for your car. You don't wait for smoke to start pouring out of the engine, right? No, you change the oil every 5,000 miles to keep it happy. It's the same idea in a power plant, doing routine stuff like cleaning boilers or lubricating the gigantic parts of a turbine, all on a super strict schedule. But what if your car could actually tell you it needed service before you hit that 5,000-mile mark? Now we're talking about the next level, predictive maintenance. This is the plant's early warning system. It uses all this incredible technology to monitor the health of the equipment in real time, basically listening for the absolute faintest whisper of trouble.
So how do you actually predict the future? This is where it gets really cool. Engineers use vibration analysis to literally feel if a massive turbine is just a tiny bit off balance. They use thermography, think of it like high-tech heat vision, to spot invisible hotspots that signal something's about to fail. They'll even analyze the oil from microscopic metal bits that tell them a part is wearing down. It's like they're crime scene investigators for machines.
And then there's the third strategy, corrective maintenance. This is what happens when you ignore all the schedules, all the warnings. This isn't a strategy, really. It's just a reaction. It's the panic button. It means something has already broken, and now crews are scrambling to put out the fire. This is your car's engine seizing up on the highway. It's expensive, it's dangerous, and it was probably completely avoidable.
And when you put these approaches side by side, the difference couldn't be more obvious. On one hand, you have the proactive stuff, planning and predicting. Your costs are under control, any downtime is scheduled and short, and it's way, way safer. On the other hand, the reactive approach is just chaos. The costs are sky high and unpredictable, the outages are long, and the safety risks are so much greater. It's really no contest.
All right, so we get the strategies. But what are we actually talking about maintaining here? Let's take a quick walk inside the powerhouse to see where all this planning meets the actual machinery. We are talking about the absolute heart of the plant. You've got the gigantic boiler, which is basically a giant furnace turning water into high-pressure steam. Then there's the massive turbine, with blades spinning at mind-boggling speeds. And the generator, the thing that turns all that motion into the electricity we use. Not to mention the cooling systems and electrical grids that make the whole thing work. Every single one of these components needs its own special checklist to stay in top shape. See, a proactive strategy isn't just a nice idea, it's a detailed, down-to-the-minute plan. It's a master schedule, a playbook that lays out every single action to make sure nothing, and I mean nothing, gets left to chance.
And this is what that master plan actually looks like. Maintenance is just a constant hum of activity. Every single day there are routine checks on alarms and fluid levels. Every week someone's cleaning filters or checking valves. Every month they're calibrating sensitive instruments. And this all builds and builds towards huge annual overhauls where they might take a whole turbine apart for a deep inspection. It's like a perfectly choreographed symphony of vigilance.
So, what's the secret sauce? What's the winning formula? It really comes down to these four things. 1. Keep meticulous logs of everything. 2. Use those high-tech monitoring tools to see trouble coming. 3. Train your team like their lives depend on it, because they do. And 4, have a stockpile of spare parts ready to go so you're never caught flat-footed. It's all about thinking ahead.
So let's zoom out. Why does any of this matter? Why have we been talking about boilers and vibration analysis for the last few minutes? Because it all points to a much bigger, much more powerful idea. The sheer power of having a proactive mindset.
When you make that shift, when you go from just reacting to problems to actively preventing them, the benefits are just massive. Your reliability goes through the roof, safety improves for every single person on site, and believe it or not, you actually end up spending way less money over time. It turns out planning is always cheaper than panicking.
This quote just nails it. The real goal isn't to get better at putting out fires, rushing from one crisis to the next. The goal is to be an architect, to design and maintain a system that's so strong, so resilient that the fires rarely ever start in the first place. So the next time you flip on that light switch, just take a second to remember that invisible army and that master plan working 24/7. And it kind of leaves us with a bigger question, doesn't it? Our whole modern world is built on this foundation of reliability. So the question for all of us is, in our own lives, in our own systems, are we actively planning for that reliability, or are we just waiting for things to break?